What's going on, everybody? Welcome to NESN Bet's Kickoff. He is former Patriots running back LeGarrette Blount. I'm Claudia Bellofatto. You can catch me on Lunchline Ultimate Betting Show 1 and 5:30 LG. Happy Thursday night football, baby. Lions and Packers, gonna be a good one. This line has moved all over the place, sitting around 2.5 now. Lions, small road favorites, but you don't have to pay a lot of juice on the money line. So simple question, did the Lions win or did the Packers get it?
I like the Lions tonight. I like the Lions to win this one. Not having Jerry Alexander for the Packers on defense, not having Bakhtiari for the Packers on offense, puts them in a pretty tough situation against a good Detroit Lions football team. So I'm gonna have to rock with the Lions tonight.
So Alexander out, Montgomery in for the Lions, Watson, Jones in for the Packers. That was the big concern, was these injuries. But now with the guys on offense healthy, let's talk about this total. One of the higher totals on the board. And very simply, do you think it will be a higher scoring game, or do you see them leaning on the run a little bit more? Did the defenses show up higher or lower scoring tonight?
I definitely see that's a little tricky because I think the Lions are going to score points. I think they're going to be able to run the ball. I think they're going to be able to throw the ball. I think the Packers might have a little bit of trouble. It's perspective. What do you call a high scoring or a low scoring game? If we're talking 50 points, in that case, yeah, it might be a low scoring game in my opinion. Because
right.
I don't think
let's use the line. Line set at 45, so over under 45.
I
know it's a tough number. It's like the right number, right?
Right, it's the right number. But if I was to have to guess, I'm gonna say under because I don't think that Green Bay will score a lot of points tonight. I just don't think they will. Even with Aaron Jones and Christian Watson coming back, I think Aaron Jones will help the run game tremendously because they haven't been able to run it that well without him. But I think they're also going to manage Christian Watson's workload. They're not going to let him go out there and grind it out every single play. He's coming right back off of injury, so I'm gonna say under.
Well, deep running back room on both sides. So I agree with you. It would be kind of crazy not to lean on the run game. That's nothing against Jared Goff or Jordan Love, but when you have the talent, you should use it. Let's talk about the quarterbacks, though. If you had to pick one for over on touchdowns, maybe to throw an interception, over passing yards, do you see one player having a bigger game than the other? I know you like the Lions, but Jordan Love has looked good so far.
Jordan Love has looked good, and he has Christian Watson back. But I'm gonna still go with a Jared Goff that's been playing really well this season. Even he's a good fantasy pickup for you guys if y'all don't have him. He's a good fantasy pickup for you right now. So he's been playing really, really well. I think that he has, again, he has Amon-Ra. I don't know how to say the rest of his name, but this kid is a monster. He's a really, really good football player, really, really nice receiver, comforting blanket for Jared Goff. I'm gonna go with Jared Goff on this. I'm gonna go with Jared Goff. He's gonna be the guy that tears it up tonight.
Yeah, and it's pretty simple. He did it last season as well, finished top 5 in passing yards. He's there this season. Regardless of the game script, they're not afraid to throw the ball. So I like the over there. You mentioned the star on that side when it comes in the passing game, Amon-Ra St. Brown. His number is only 72.5. He's had 120, 120, and 71 yards. So he has cashed this. Well, he missed it in the first week, just barely, but 102 in the last 2 weeks. That has to be too low. You'd go over that. Come on.
I'm going over that for sure. Again, like I said, man, the kid is really, really good football player. Goff seems to like him a lot. I'm going over on the props on this right here. 72.5 is just kind of low for a guy that's been, almost averaging, almost 100 yards a game receiving.
Okay, now let's talk about Jahmyr Gibbs, because you mentioned fantasy. I have him in fantasy, and I'm struggling. Do I start him? Do I sit him? Because all of this hype was surrounding him when he came into the league, that he can be a pass catcher. He can obviously do it on the ground. Is this going to be a game where he really shows up, or does he still need to sort of get used to the league? Because there is a transition going from college to the NFL. Do you like him in this spot?
I do like him. I think that he's still going to have a lot of time to progress and get better. I think they brought David Montgomery around just so that they can have a lead horse while they bring him on and bring him up to speed to where he can play efficient snaps, or maybe even more snaps than David Montgomery. So I like Gibbs to have a breakout game. I like this to be the one. The Packers aren't they're not the best against the run. And, you know, when they haven't faced really elite backs, but when they did face an elite back in Bijan Robinson, he went up for, you know, 120 plus yards rushing on him. So, you know, Gibbs has the opportunity. I think they're going to give him a chance. It's going to be fun to watch him. I think he's going to have that game for us this week.
Okay, because I'm looking at the numbers now. So 38.5 rush yards, 19.5 receiving. If you had to pick one of those for Gibbs, would you go over? Because that's a low number for receiving yards. We know we can get that 1 or 2 catches. So would you go over on receiving, or do you feel safer going rushing?
With Montgomery coming back, is you know, that rushing might be a little tough because obviously he's been the bell cow when he's been there.
Yeah.
Right. But you know, if I'm gonna go over on any of them, I'm gonna definitely go to receiving yards. He'll probably get a few catches, make a guy miss, and you know, he might even get that on one catch. So I'm definitely gonna go on the receiving yards, over 19.5 yards receiving for Gibbs.
Okay, so we talked a lot about the Lions players. I know you mentioned Watson coming in. Is there anybody on this Packers team that you really feel confident, whether it's a touchdown, whether it's catches, whether it's yards, receiving yards, just Watson, or anybody outside of that?
I mean, you got to go Aaron Jones. You know, you can never count him out on anything. Receiving props, rushing props, you got to go with him. If he's coming back into the game and he's coming back into the fold, I find it really hard to believe that A.J. Dillon is going to still get the bulk of the carries and things like that. It's going to be an Aaron Jones show. So if I'm going to go with anyone on the Packers, I'm going to go with that being the most productive player tonight.
Okay, I feel like it's always a struggle with him especially, and the numbers sort of reflect this, right? Because 49 rush yards is what he would need, 19 receiving yards. But again, you don't really know how they're going to use him. So I'm going to pose you with the same question I asked you about Gibbs. Do you feel more comfortable going over on rush yards or receiving?
Oh, definitely receiving yards. He's going to catch the ball. There's no doubt about that. He's going to catch screens. He's going to catch drag routes. He's going to catch swings. He's going to catch the ball, no doubt about that. So if I was to choose one or the other, I'm definitely going to go over on the receiving yards. Okay. But I like him to go over on both.
So you could do a combo. I know a lot of shops have that, rushing plus receiving.
Rushing and receiving.
Okay.
I don't know if it adds up those two and it comes up with like a number. But
yeah, it'll be around there. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm definitely, rushing and receiving is the way to go with this.
And that way, too, and I do this with a lot of the two-way guys, that way you don't need to have specifically 49 rush yards or 19 receiving yards. He could go off and have 2 receiving yards. It doesn't matter because as long as he gets the combo. So I'm with you there. I like that. So he's probably going to have a big game. It seems like we're talking about a lot of guys that could have a big game. But what really matters is who scores. So let's do this. Anytime touchdown, anybody's name come to mind for you?
Anytime touchdown, the name that comes up for me, again, is Aaron Jones. I think he's going to have the opportunities. He's going to have the most opportunities out of anybody in the game. Catching and running the ball, he's probably going to, you know, I think he's going to have the most opportunities, especially if Green Bay is going out there to win this game. He has to have the most opportunities from anybody on that team.
Okay. And Amon St. Brown, when it comes to the Lions, I mean, he eats up those red zone targets, catches, yards, touchdowns, whatever it is. He's the guy on the Lions side.
Let's see what the line on Amon St. Brown, however you say his name. Let's see the line on his. Let's see the line on his. What is the odds for him scoring a touchdown?
Yeah. Do we have that, producer? If we can find that, they're going to look it up for us. I'm assuming that you're going to have to pay some sort of tax because he's always getting the touchdowns, and that's usually what happens. Plus 140. Right. Okay. So everybody else, you're getting.
Oh, yeah. Heck,
I mean, you're still getting plus money.
Yeah, take that.
Hell yeah, he says. All right. Take that. First TD, what is it? What is it, guys? First TD plus 900, 9-1. So if you're feeling really frisky, because I feel like LG's talking me into it.
Hey, I jumped in on this before. I jumped on first time scorer. I jumped on this before, I think a couple weeks ago with my guy Travis, I think. Or maybe it was George. I'm not sure who it was, but I jumped on it with one of them.
You've been cashing this. And I will say quickly before we go, Jaden Reed, rookie for the Packers. I love him right now. It is shocking, but he is tied with Tyreek Hill for the second most red zone targets. He leads the team in targets overall in receiving yards. So a name that we haven't mentioned, but Jaden Reed, look out for him because the looks are there.
I'm going to look out for him. I'm going to make sure I stay locked in. That might be somebody I jump into. Right? You just gave me a gem right there, Claudia.
Let's go. All right, final. Do you have a final score in mind, prediction for this team, or are we just going to say Lions are going to win by 3 or more?
Yeah. Oh yeah. The Lions. I no. I like the Lions to win this game. 24 to 17.
Okay.
24 to 14. 24 to 17. Up in that area.
The
Definitely
Lions will cover
the
in that
under.
case.
I'm taking the under.
All right, LG.
Whatever the score is going to be under that.
All right. LG, we appreciate you as always. Thanks everybody for hanging out with us. NESN Bets Kickoff here in the PNC studio, helping to make banking easier.